There's a lot of dealers out there that are having these fugazi CRMs that are built by corporate people that never worked in a dealership before, that never have taken it up, that have never gone through the road to the sale.
If an average CRM database has 10,000 customers in it, which is low, that's $1 million. Decadize that, that's a $10 million investment.
Could you really respect a manager that never took it up before? Could you really listen to him and follow him to the depths of the earth? And hell no, you've never even taken up before.
Hey, what's happening, everybody? This is L.A. Williams, Vice President with Dealer Synergy and one of the co-creators of the Millionaire Car Salesman Podcast. And man, I'm telling y'all, as the blind master, man, there are so many key things that are important. And one of them is when you want to talk about the experience of your prospects and the experience of your teammates, all right? And so in order to talk a little bit about that, you know who I brought along with me, the host with the most, the one and only Mr. Sean V. Bradley, CSP. What's going on, Sean?
Bro, what am I, Beetlejuice and stuff? But anyway, this is SVB and the place to be, and it is the Millionaire Car Salesman Podcast. And listen, the buzz right now all over the industry, all over the country, all over the world has been tariffs, tariffs. Crazy. Tariffs. Oh my gosh, these tariffs. Yo, like LA, we have to just talk about this because I know that we just had our most recent episode and it came up a little bit, but the stock market is crashed. You know, it's been the lowest it's been in 5 years and half a decade. There's a lot of people on so many different areas that are like really kind of obsessed about this. And here's the thing, you know, it's almost like, you know, when you hear there's a storm like coming in Florida, everybody goes and they get their bread, they get their milk, they get their cheese. And you know, the damn pandemic, like they wiped out all the toilet paper. I still don't understand what the hell that logic was, but you know, I guess, you know, fear and uncertainty like breeds like chaos, man. And so people are consuming fear, and then you don't got to send the media spins propaganda. Why? Because of ratings. Because people don't care about things that are nice and good. It's just death and carnage and fear and grrr. Listen, let me just say this. Slow down. Yo, we just survived a pandemic, people. You know what I'm saying? We literally just survived a global pandemic and we're all still here. You feel me? We've survived the ice ages. I mean, like the dinosaurs aren't here, but we are. You feel me? So again, I promise you, these tariffs are not going to cripple you. They're going to change the way, obviously, shoppers and buyers think. They're going to change certain things. But, you know, what I do want to say is this. At the end of the day, Dr. Covey's got the best advice in the world. Circle of influence versus circle of concern. In the 7 Habits of Highly Effective People, what Covey talks about is 2 paradigms. The most effective people, AKA the most successful people, AKA the most wealthy people, they focus on what they could control, their attitudes, thoughts, actions, and behaviors. They're smart enough to understand there's certain things that are out of their reach. So there is absolutely no value in you stressing or freaking the hell out on it. And there's absolutely even less value in stressing out your coworkers or worse, your employees or your staff. So if you're in a position of leadership, take charge, suck it up, buttercup. You know what I'm saying? You know, put your big girl, big boy pants on and let's go to work. And so this episode is going to be very special because when I talk about circle of influence, LA versus circle of concern, what can you control? Okay, and here's what I want to remind everybody for the umpteenth time. You are in possession with the most powerful, the most sacred, the most important, resource in your dealership. That is your customer relationship management tool. That is your CRM. That is your alpha and your omega. That is your beginning, your middle, your after, your past, present, and your future. I mean, it's all your prospects. It's all of your former clients. It's all of your current clients. It is your service. It's your sales. It's your F&I. It's your parts. parts. It's everything. And what happens is you're neglecting it. You're freaking out about some tariffs. You should be freaking about how you're screwing up your CRM and you're paying stupid tax. You're spending $65,000 to $75,000 a month in advertising because you don't know how to extract the vital information, the vital resources for your CRM. And listen, you better get me off my soapbox.
I was getting ready to say, Sean, you are just so super on fire. And we're going to have to do something about that. Here's what I'll say really quickly about that. You talked about the stock market. Finance is my topic, right? And so one of the wild things is that when the Dow Jones...
interior decorating is definitely not your topic, so I hope it was.
When the Dow Jones hit 40,000, like everybody was pumped up, fired up, super excited. Oh my gosh, this is amazing. We hit a record, right? And then just recently when it dropped to 40,600, everybody's like, oh, the world is ending, right? So it's all about perspective. It's like, before everything was great, but now it's doing better than it was doing then and everything's hard. So that's why it's all about perspective. It's all about how you look at things. Control with the controllables. That's what they always talk about. So with that being said, we are going to talk to a gentleman who is a controller, right? He's not like a dealer, to dealer control. That's not what I mean. I mean, he is the kind of person that he controls things. You understand what I'm saying? And so I want everyone to get to know him. So listen, when we come back from break, we're going to have the one and only Mr. Greg Becker. We'll be right back on the Millionaire Car Salesman Podcast.
This episode is brought to you by Podium. Here's a question. How much would your business change if you had one more employee who worked 24/7 to turn every lead, including the ones that come in after hours, into test drives, sales, and more money for your dealership? Meet Jerry, Podium's new AI BDC. Jerry is a lead conversion powerhouse designed to respond instantly to every incoming lead to answer questions accurately, keep leads warm, and schedule test drives all without direct human supervision. And the best part? With a seamless handoff to staff on the sales floor, customers will never know they were interacting with an AI to begin with. See how Podium's AI BDC can help you sell more cars by visiting podium.com/MCS. That's podium.com/MCS or click on the link in the show notes below. Introducing Dealer Synergy's brand new 55,000 square foot outsourced BDC. Over 2,000 highly skilled agents are not just making and taking calls. They're transforming customer engagements. Our agents are specially trained by Dealer Synergy, a name trusted in automotive sales training for over 20 years. With access to decades of proven methods, they're equipped with the skills and confidence to handle every customer interaction. Combining Dealer Synergy's advanced training with the cost efficiency of a Belize-based team, our BDC helps you grow your business and maximize every opportunity. The native language in Belize is English, so no customer will be affected by agitating language barriers. Through Dealer Synergy's industry-leading training, these agents are primed to deliver results that boost your dealership's bottom line. Our goal: keep your showroom full, your customers engaged, and your reputation shining. Dealer Synergy's BDC is your partner in elevating customer satisfaction and bringing in a steady stream of ready-to-buy visitors. Contact Dealer Synergy to get more information to sign up today.
Ladies and gentlemen, we are back on the Millionaire Car Salesman Podcast. And man, I'm telling y'all, as you can tell, Sean's on fire. So you're excited. This is going to be an amazing episode. But again, I have with us the Chief Product Officer at ProMax. Listen, y'all know you got to have the one and only Mr. Greg Becker. What's going on, Greg?
Good morning. Thank you so much for inviting me to be on. I'm energized just from the intro. I may not be as on fire as Sean, but I certainly am smoldering after that.
There you go. Let's go. That's how we do it.
Let's go. So listen, Greg, I have known you for a while now, and I'm incredibly impressed with your background. But for the dealers that might not know who you are, can you just please give us a little bit about your background, as far as technology and CRM, and then how did you, get into the automotive industry and then wind up with NCC ProMax?
Yeah. So currently I'm the Chief Product Officer. So I help with a team in designing products and features and integrations and kind of the workflow of how our platform works. I've spent some time in preeminent data mining companies. I spent some time in Cox environment, and I spent a lot of time in retail. So I started in automotive in 2000, started in a BDC, managed a BDC center, team for a multi-rooftop organization with a centralized BDC in the early 2000s when my dealer principal was like, okay, we're going to try this thing called the internet. And we were using antiquated systems and fax machines. And, so I spent about 12 years in retail. I had the privilege of working for two very well-established organizations in the Pacific Northwest. Both dealer principals were very much mentors to me in the right way to take care of their customer and the right way to do business. And I've tried to bring that forward with me as I've come to the software side to provide solutions to dealers. I have probably set foot on the ground in 3,500 to 4,000 dealerships across the country. I talk with hundreds of dealers a week. I was a road warrior. I traveled 6 or 7 days a week installing CRMs in multiple rooftop organizations and large dealer groups in all four corners of the United States and Canada. I'm very passionate about what I do, and I like providing solutions. I like listening to dealers. But what I find is selling cars and trucks hasn't necessarily changed. It's the access to information, how you apply it, and how you engage with your customer and where you engage with your customer.
Man, listen, I say one of my favorite sayings, I'm stealing from Cat Williams. A Chrysler 300 looks like a Rolls-Royce Phantom until what? Until a real Rolls-Royce pulls up and you're like, damn, that's what a Rolls-Royce looks like? Damn, that's what it looks like. And the reason why I reference that again is I love to speak to people like you, because there's a lot of people out there that do CRM, but they're technology people. That's it. They're software people. They're from basic corporate America. You've got all of that. You're the major corporation, but you have that authentic background. You worked in a dealership, in a dealer group. You worked in the internet, in the BDC. You used CRMs. And you, like you just said, you're in 3,500, 4,000 rooftops, speaking to hundreds of dealers on a weekly basis. So to me, I think that is who I would want to have developing my CRM, is somebody that is authentic. It's like, how the hell can you be at a dealership and be a general sales manager, a desk manager, and you've never taken it up before? You know what I mean? Like, that doesn't make
Absolutely.
any sense. And if we're all being honest with all my listeners, because you know how we keep it 100 on this show, right? I mean, like, could you really respect a manager that never took it up before? Could you really listen to him and follow him to the depths of the earth? And hell no, if you've never been taken up before, if you never did the deal, like, no. So that's the thing. But Greg, there's a lot of dealers out there that are having these fugazi CRMs that are built by corporate people that never worked in a dealership before, that never have taken it up, that have never gone through the road to the sale or the road to the appointment process. So I want to just first solidify that you are a car guy. You are an automotive expert that also is a technology and CRM expert. So I think that's amazing. Can you tell me, how does that benefit you, your dual expertise? And the second part of that question is, how does that benefit your clients? I already know, but I want to hear the answer from you.
Well, I think we approach solutions from a different perspective, right? A lot of individuals that are providing software solutions are providing technology solutions, not people solutions. And so I think there's a big difference between that, right? Automotive has its own language, its own culture, its own little community. And, we do Automotive 101 when we hire a new employee that comes in. And it's basically just a long list of all of the odd terms that we use in automotive, just understanding the language and the culture. And, I remember sitting in a store having a sales rep come in to try and sell me something, a piece of software or whatever it was. And immediately you can determine that person's never sold a car in their life, right? They sold their software, right? And what do we do as desk managers? We play with them, right? Like, we enjoy making them get to the point where they have to say, I don't know, right? Like, I've never really done this. I just know what my software does, right? So it benefits us in a multitude of reasons. First off, I would say this, our entire team is extremely talented and has a long tenure in automotive. And so when we approach a solution or something that we're trying to build, we start with how this is going to benefit the dealer, help them sell more cars and trucks, right? Because moving metal is what matters. That's it. Selling cars is what matters. So analytics and the reporting and all of those things, yes, they want to be able to inspect it, but you have to provide you can't just provide vaporware. You got to provide something that helps them sell a car.
I want to also redirect, and I don't know, I'm just inspired to ask you this question or just get your validation or disagreement on this point. What I think that is really kind of hilarious is that most dealers don't understand the true magnitude of CRM outside the automotive vertical. But what's prompting me saying this is what you just said, that we are our own niche community. And dealers are racist. Let me explain this. If you're not a dealer, if you're a technology that's not customized for a dealer, they don't like you. You know what I mean? And so that's what I mean by racist. The race is automotive race, okay? Because think about the global CRMs like Salesforce or Zoho or HubSpot. These are enterprise level Fortune 100, Fortune 500, corporation CRMs. Most dealers don't use them. And the reason why, and this is a true or false question right here, is because they would vomit if they knew how much it costs to really customize a CRM. I know companies that spend a minimum of tens of thousands, if not hundreds of thousands of dollars, with CRM customization engineers. I mean, can you imagine if you have a Salesforce and you have to customize that for your operations? Can you please give a reality check, give them a little peek under the covers? What would a dealer group, right? A 31 rooftop dealer group, which is a multi-billion-dollar organization, how much would they have to invest to customize a Salesforce out of the box for their business and all their profit centers? Just given a cost.
Well, I mean, if you look at our organization, right, and you think about, first off, we have 30 years of history. There's a lot learned over time that would be, you can't put a price tag on experience. You can't put a price tag on being through a pandemic, being through 2008, being through downturns, being through inventory shortages, being through acquisition, being through the age of the internet, being through digital retailing, right? And so you have all of these experiences that build value in your understanding of what you're trying to build out, right? We employ a large team of developers. We've got, fixed costs of AWS and hosting and security and compliance and permissions and roles. I mean, think about the structure of how all dealerships are set up, right? You've got some have a BDC, some don't have a BDC. Some have concierge salespeople that go, cradle to grave. Some people have I turn at the desk. Some people pull credit up front. Some people pull it when they get into F&I. There's so many different variables. You'd have to have full-time engineers customizing and building your workflows and building out your visualization. So you can't put a price tag on experience, and you can't put a price tag on somebody that understands your business, right? I can't agree with you enough that CRM is the centralized hub of the repository where the data is. There are a lot of great connectors and tools that you can use to achieve a goal, but the long-term objective is to keep everything about that customer in one spot, right? And so if you just think about all of the profit centers that a CRM touches, you alluded to this, right? You've got your people, number one, right? Your people are your most important asset in a dealership. So is it easy for them to use? Do they understand? Does it have a mobile application? Does it transition into a BDC? Does it transition into fixed ops and service appointment and scheduling and consuming that information? Are you data mining? Are you campaigning? How are you doing all of those? Those are multi-million-dollar investments for organizations over a long period of time. And it's not just build it and it's done. CRM evolves. So it's a continuing.
I'm so glad. This is exactly what I wanted you to be able to articulate, because that's the other thing. True CRM mastery is not a set it and forget it. It is a continual evolution. And a lot of dealers, which we'll get into a little bit later in the show, what they're doing is they'll buy a CRM from whatever company, whether it's NCC, ProMax, or whatever CRM out there, and they out of the box, they don't set it up the right way. They don't train their people the right way. They don't hold their people accountable using the CRM. Management and leadership doesn't understand it, doesn't use it, so they can't hold people accountable to it. And even if they're able to wing most of that, which they don't realistically, the challenge is they're not constantly evolving it. So can you do this? Can you define what is CRM? I know that's such a basic thing, but it's really not. Can you, to you at your level, I think you're so qualified from the front and the back end side of these things. What to a dealership, what is a CRM, and how should a CRM be engaged and utilized? That's it. What is a CRM? How should it be engaged and utilized?
I think CRM has evolved in a definition, but the ultimate what it is it's a customer relationship management tool. Right? It's how you manage the relationship with your customer. And we focus a lot on the customer journey of how that lead gets to the system. right, or gets to the dealership. The customer relationship management system is the customer's journey from now till forever with how you manage the relationship with that customer, how you manage the sales experience, how you manage the service experience, and how you manage the ongoing and continual relationship. It's like the hub that keeps the glue together between a group of college friends that have all moved around the country, but they still stay connected because they have memories and they have conversations and they have things that trigger certain emotions with them. That's what your CRM should be doing, right? So your lead comes into the system. A lot of people focus just on lead management. It's not just about the lead. It's about the conversion. And then the conversion turns to, how do I bring that customer into my family when they buy the car from me the first time? And how do I touch every service interval, right? Everybody always says sales sells the first car, service sells the second. How, it boggles my mind sometimes that most CRMs don't have any service advisors in them, right? I mean, just you spend the money for this and you focus on leads, but it's a bigger story than leads. It's the relationship with the customer. And that's what everybody wants. How do I manage the relationship? I don't care where they came from, whether they're an internet lead or a digital retailing, or they came from, whatever lead source, or they walked in, right? Doesn't make any difference. It's how do I take care of that customer?
What's I think really, really important to like remind everybody is the manufacturers, the OEMs give a monetary number of what the estimated lost value of a client is. Okay, so that means if you're a Toyota dealership and you lose a Toyota client, let's say LA Williams has purchased one or two Camrys from you, and you don't keep that customer, they defect and they go to Honda. The manufacturer estimates the lost opportunity of the lifetime of that customer is over $300,000. How do I know this? Because I have a multi-year contract with Toyota. I work with Toyota officially in the Chicago region as well as the Portland region. And we just talked about this. Wrap your mind around that. One client is worth $300,000 in repeat business, in sales, in service, in parts, in referrals, in body shop, in whatever, in aftermarket. And so it is sacred to me to keep a customer. Secondary, I want to point out is the NADA statistics. Look, I don't gamble. I have too much of an obsessive, compulsive behavior. I mean, like if I started gambling, I don't know, my wife might get mad because I'd have to go gamble, and so I don't gamble. But if I did gamble, I am not going to gamble on the thing that I had the lowest odds on. I'm not stupid. I work too hard for my millions and millions of dollars, my friend. And here's what I'm going to tell you. NADA says, forget about Sean Bradley, the National Automobile Dealer Association says the highest closing ratio and the highest gross profits are, drum roll, would be prior customers at a 65% closing ratio. Furthermore, NADA says that a service customer is 7 times as likely to purchase a vehicle from they service a car from. Furthermore, NADA says when somebody purchases and services, they're upwards of almost 80% closing ratio. So all of this is capitalized, maximized by the CRM. If you have a good CRM strategy, CRM culture, you could play to the odds. But Greg, what happens is dealers spend $65,000 a month on advertising, marketing, throwing shit against the wall, whatever sticks or what have you, but they spend virtually nothing in customizing, setting up, training, supporting their CRM. Before I turn it back over to you, I want to just remind you, Dr. Covey says you could tell what's important to people by their spends, where they spend their money and they spend their time. You could say CRM is important, but if you're not setting up, maximizing, utilizing it, holding people accountable, then you're spinning your wheels. Greg, what are your thoughts on that?
Well, I think another fact to throw in there, and I often have these conversations when I'm in front of a dealer principal or a general manager, right? NADA says cost of customer acquisition, roughly $700, $695 to $795, depending upon the flavor, right? So if an average CRM database has 10,000 customers in it, which is low, that's $1 million. Decadize that, that's a $10 million investment. So let's say you've got 50 or 60 or 70 or 120,000 customers in your database, right? You've already spent that money. So as a dealer principal, I want to get a return on my investment. not one time, but multiple times. The more return I get on the spend to acquire that customer, the more business I can get, the more service I can get, the more second vehicles, right? That cost of acquisition comes down. And one of the things you said is so true, right? So the value of that customer is $300,000 over time, right? And that you can close a prior customer 65% of the time higher. One of the things that I like to talk with dealers about, right? So you negotiate a car deal. Man, that's the hard part, right? Back and forth and this and that. You meet the terms and you've got lendability and you've hit your affordability and, hey, you've made a little money because profit's not a dirty word. That customer should have just negotiated their last car deal with you because they gave you all the terms. Unless they have a significant life-changing event, all I have to do every other time is to ask the oldest question in the industry, which is, if I could, would you? And present the terms that they already gave me 3 years ago. If I can meet your payment, meet your vehicle, meet your this, all I'm coming out is saying, hey, you're almost out of warranty. It's time to upgrade. I'm going to put you into a new vehicle. I'm going to keep your payment the same. Sign here. Your new car's ready to go. There is literally hundreds of customers inside of every dealership every month that are in that position, but you don't know it. And you're not seeing that they're coming into service, right? You get one person that crosses the front, you write 7 ROs on average is what it says. So if you have 100 ups, right, you're writing 700 ROs in the back end.
Yeah.
I need to go spend $75,000 to get more 100 ups that I've got a 20% closing ratio on, where these are already established customers in the back. Just turn and face your other showroom.
It's good.
Right? Everybody looks out the front window. Sure is slow. Your back showroom is busier than ever. And that is the customers that you've already established a relationship with. So you got to start leveraging data to know, when are those prior customers coming in and where are they at?
Yeah, it's wild that you're saying this because even this, we're talking right now like about dealers, right? And so what happens with the dealership? But it's the same thing when you think about one individual car salesman. I don't want, the individual car salesman to listen to this and say this is beyond me, because it's totally not. We just had a gentleman who posted in the group, and he talked about how he changed dealerships. And so he was operating as if he had, a book of business. He had a whole bunch of people, and he sold less cars than he ever sold before, right? And then he started getting his hustle on, and he changed his mindset and said, hey, you know what, let me kind of dig into my customer base. Let me try to, find some of the people who I'm already close to. Let me reach out to some of those people. And then he was not the top salesman, but second top salesman, right? And so little things like that, it makes all the difference in the world when we change our paradigm, when we change, like you said, where we're looking. I like how you said the out the window, showroom, the lot versus the back showroom, the secret showroom. That's kind of cool. we need a CRM called Secret Showroom.
I mean, some of the best salespeople I've met never taken up.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
Right?
Why would you?
But how do they do that?
They're working their prior customers, referrals, and their own prospects. They have built their business within the dealership's business. Hence, Cody Carter. Cody Carter, I don't know if you know, brother. I know that you guys are about to do something with Cody Carter, which I think was a power move. I heard the board just approved that. That's a power move. This guy sold in 2023 1,408 units on the showroom floor.
With one assistant.
And then in 2024, he sold 1,432 units. And that is because he's got his own website. He's got his own leasing program that he's created on the cody.tustintoyota.com website, right? He only works with prior customers, repeat business, referrals and prospects. And check this out. He uses digital retailing on his own website. Over 70% of the deals are done before they even get to the dealership, Greg. You know what I mean? So people are like, well, how does he sell that many cars? Because he's not selling cars the way that you do. He's not selling internet deals that are 4, 6, 8% closing ratio. He's not spending 2 hours in a showroom with these people. He's got a different system. He's basically Netflix to Blockbuster. He's Amazon to Sears. And that's what you need to be able to do. So you are the innovator. So Greg, what are some of the cool technology features or things that you've done with NCC ProMax? Because again, you got us all excited. Like, you obviously are a G. You know your shit. You know what I mean? So what have you built that is super useful for car people to be able, at the end of the day, you know what? All this other stuff sounds good. You know what a real car guy, car girl cares about? How do I get an up? How do I find an opportunity? How do I sell a car today? How can I turn around and sell more cars, make more money? What have you built in the new NCC ProMax Complete CRM that helps dealers sell cars today?
I think the biggest concentration that we did when we started this journey to rebuild it is we sat down and talked with our customers. And we talked with customers that weren't our customers, right? That were using other tool sets. And we interviewed them and we asked them, what are the challenges that you face? What is the deficiency? What do you do every day to try and find a deal, right? And it was, I run a report, or I create and I print this out and I hand it to the salespeople. I'm like, print, okay, that's like a dirty word, right? But okay. So we went through and said, what are key performance indicators around each one of the departments? And when I say each one of the departments, I'll go back and say people are first, right? So how does the salesperson log into the system and know what they're supposed to do today, right? So if you have a CRM admin, right, who has built out the best processes on the planet, and you've got information that's going out and you've got things that are supposed to be doing, if the salesperson can't get to it quick, fast, and efficient, they're going to bow out, right? So we started with, how do we organize the salesperson's day the most efficient way, right? So when they log in, boom, they land where they want to land. Second was, how do I take everything that involves my digital showroom, right, which is anything that comes on a lead? How do I organize this so that they can look at it and immediately know what they need to do? They don't need to go run a report. They don't need to leave the dashboard. Make sure that these boxes are taken care of, right? How do we look at opportunities and data mining, retention? How do we make sure that everything is available? And what we tried to do is to say, if we involve all of the departments, so I'm involving the sales rep, I'm involving the BDC and the data loyalty and retention, I'm involving the service department, I'm involving the used car manager, all of those departments have to work together in order to make sure that everybody is doing their part to be successful. So if you're an inventory manager, I'm going to let you land on your inventory dashboard and I'm going to give you a snapshot of everything that you need to do today. How many cars don't have photos? How many cars don't have comments? How many cars aren't booked out? How many cars, how many vehicles of interest have, from my leads, have been sold where there's no vehicle of interest that they inquired on? Is that a repetitive thing that I need to go and find? So how do we take data and, for lack of a better term, bubble it to the leadership of the individual department so that when those key tasks are done, that the entire dealership moves forward better? So we tried to remove the silos of that customer experience. And our first customer is the dealer. We work on behalf of their dealer, their customer, but our customer is the dealership. So how do I make the dealership's life more efficient and easier to do? And then we brought in,
Wait, pause. I want to comment on that. Jim Ziegler, the Alpha Dog, had one of the absolute best quotes ever, for any car person or any business person or any human being. And I want to quote Jim Ziegler by saying, "Be careful of distractions disguised as opportunities." Dr. Covey from the 7 Habits of Highly Effective People, it's the third habit. Put first things first. So what I'm hearing you say is, one of the very powerful features of the new NCC ProMax Complete CRM is you've created a way that each individual person, inventory manager, BDC rep, sales manager, whatever your role is, when you log on, you have your command center, you have your dashboard, you're able to clearly see what you need to do first. You're able to put first things first. It helps you, not be distracted by things disguised as opportunities, because there's a lot of busy work that gets in. There's a lot of times that people are clicking and sorting through stuff, but they're not working. So I commend you on that. Sorry to interrupt, but I just wanted to just clarify that for our audience.
Thank you. And I love that quote. I think one of the things that we did when we talked with people was we said, what are the things you don't like about what you have today, right? Oh, I have to navigate 14 different times to be able to get to where I need to do my job, right? So little things that we built into the system, like you can customize where you land in the system. I know that sounds simplistic, but if you have to do 5 clicks every time you log in to get to where you do your job, and you're a BDC agent and you're having to go 5 layers deep every time you're trying to do something, those things add up during a day, and they just create friction that's unnecessary. Why do I make them do this? Because that's the way we've always done it. A lot of times when we have a dealer that onboards with us and we ask them questions, right? We built in simple things like, customizing the way you name your teams, right? If your organization is used to seeing jet fighter team and, the Rolling Stones or whatever they call themselves, right? Dealership culture. We can recreate that culture inside of the system just by having drop downs show the names that they're familiar with. I mean, it sounds silly, but
no, it doesn't.
One of the things that I really believe in, right, is that when a dealership makes a decision to change their CRM, it's a big one. And CRM fatigue is running rampant. They've been through the big three. They've been through these. Right. So why am I changing this? Because it doesn't do anything for me. Right. But when we onboard a new dealer and we talk to that dealer, we ask questions that they're not used to getting asked to. Right. Like when we bring in their data, it starts with data. Right. We bring in their data. We look at it. I'm like, hey, there's 26,000 customers in here that have no form of contact, no email, no address, no phone, nothing. You can't contact them. They were one and done hits or they were a bad lead that came through. Let's get those out of the system, set them over here so that your salespeople have a nice clean start. Right. How do we organize your teams and your groups? How do we organize what you call your people, right? So just because salesperson manager, F&I manager, that doesn't mean that's what you call your staff. If you're concierges, let's call them concierges. Let's make the software fit the way your organization does business. Let's not make your business change the way they do business to fit the software.
That's good.
So it's a lot of little things that add up.
I'm loving this. As I said in my opening, introduction to the show today, the big craziness is the tariffs. And so one of the logics is that, there's going to be a huge price increase on vehicles, on parts, on a bunch of stuff. So people are waiting, they're nervous. Then other people are thinking, hey, they might be rushing to buy cars now because it's going to get worse. What is your opinion? It's just an opinion. What is your opinion? How do you feel that these tariffs are going to affect the automotive industry?
Before you answer that, Greg, I just wanted, because we got to pay bills. We got a lot of stuff that we got to get taken care of. Listen, you're not like a, free little resource we got here, y'all. So let me just go ahead and get some stuff taken care of, Sean. We're going to take a quick break, and then we come back on the Millionaire Car Salesman Podcast. We're going to get Greg's take on these tariffs. We'll be right back.
Dealers, are you ready to elevate your success and dominate 2025? Then it's time to check out NCC's Complete CRM, the all-in-one solution built for dealerships like yours. Whether you're an independent, franchise, or dealer group, this platform has been specifically designed to fit your unique needs. For over 30 years, NCC has been leading the way in innovative dealership solutions with built-in tools like soft pull, data mining, inventory, desking, compliance, and call tracking. Complete CRM also seamlessly integrates with your other chosen systems to help you maximize every opportunity, all while focusing on what really powers your sales: credit-driven retailing. Complete CRM specializes in turning credit insights into more profitable deals. So don't just manage your dealership in 2025, transform it. Visit nccdirect.com today to schedule a demo and see how Complete CRM can revolutionize your business. That's nccdirect.com, the smarter way to sell.
This has been the most in-depth training I've had in my lot of years in the car business.
We went from 60 cars to 156 cars a month in 3 months.
NAMAD, the entire Toyota Chicago region, as well as the top automotive groups like Koons, Lithia, and Norm Reeves have all used Bradley On Demand to train their team.
There's the most comprehensive training company I've seen, and they by far have the best support system.
Doing 50 cars a month, topped out at 80. I can tell you that the Bradley On Demand training will get you to the next level.
And guess what? The world's #1 car salesman, Cody Carter, shares his exclusive strategies right here. You want his secrets? You gotta have Bradley On Demand. If you're still not enrolled in Bradley On Demand, you're missing out on the best virtual automotive training in the world. Enroll now or contact us for a free test drive of the platform today.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, we are back on the Millionaire Car Salesman Podcast. And man, I'm telling y'all, we are talking with the Chief Product Officer at ProMax, Mr. Greg Becker. And the conversation that has been swirling around the industry, around the entire country, really it's been about these tariffs, right? And so Sean just asked a question to Greg about the tariffs. And hey, what is your thought process? How is it affect? You want to rephrase the question for us, Sean? We want to make sure everybody gets it.
Yeah, just really simple. Everybody's going cuckoo for these tariffs. They're freaking out on them. And I just want to get your opinion as a car guy, as a tech guy, as an American. How do you think these tariffs are going to affect the automotive industry, the retail side, the dealer side, or do you think they're not going to be affected at all?
I think it's a little early to tell. I think that there's a lot of emotionally charged response right now. And, whatever your views are politically is irrelevant because it's here, right? So whether you think it should be done or shouldn't have been done, that portion that's part of the debate right now of why it's so emotionally charged.
Can't control it.
You can't control that, right? So again, if you go back to your control the controllables, right? You can't control that. So it's here. And, the automotive industry is one of the most resilient, adaptable industries I've ever looked at. Woo! Right? Even when if I put on my technology hat and I think about technology providers and other companies that we look at that serve multiple verticals, a lot of times that when we ask for the way we want to do something, they're like, man, that's crazy. Why would you do that? And I'm like, because that's what my customer wants. So let's not debate why. Let's just tell me whether or not I can do it or not, right? It's very resilient. So there will be a emotionally charged response. I know several people that ran out last Friday and bought cars because cars are going to be 25% more. Maybe they will, maybe they won't. A dealer also has to take into consideration the lendability of that vehicle, right? So just because the tariff went up didn't mean that the LTV and the max advance and the loan structure changed, right? So again, you can ask for something, you can ask whatever you want for something, but you're only going to be able to finance X. So the customer has to carry more cash. We're in this compounded with, rates being higher than they have in a long time. The cost of cash, financing is.
How about we've been putting people to sleep with vehicles at list or over list when they're upside down for the last 3 to 4 years? Don't forget about that one.
This is a wee bit of a perfect storm for us right now, right? Because there's a lot of dealers in COVID that were adding second stickers and marking, inventory was light, so the purchase price went up, right? We created our own worst enemy. We know customers have, equity issues. We compounded that ourselves, I think, a little bit in some cases. Now, I know a lot of dealers that didn't do that, but I also know some dealers that did, right? So that now combined with rates, combined with the cost of money, combined with potential tariffs and price increases. We've faced price increases before. Are parts and service going to be more expensive? Yes. But
Greg, here, let me jump in because for the rest of the show, I want to now hammer solutions. Okay. And think of this like a gauntlet. So here's what my thoughts are. Okay. If this is going to have an adverse condition where it's going to be super expensive for floor plan, for example, for these vehicles, especially if you're an import dealership, right? Like a Toyota or Honda or Nissan or Kia or whatever it might be. So again, dealers need to also remember they can sell used cars. So one thing they could do is start to create an acquisition strategy, even if they're not good at it now, or they could actually create what's called a VBC. At Dealer Synergy, we build a lot of vehicle buying centers, So can you talk about how someone can leverage their CRM to find vehicles? Like one easy way is every single time somebody comes into service, you could put a hanger on the mirror. It says, I want to buy your vehicle. And you could either have a QR code that's got an ACV on it, or what you're going to offer on it. But that's an idea. Can you give us other ideas from the CRM?
I mean, first things first, I think you have to look at your service drive, right? So that means that and the beautiful part about this is that most of the customers have done 50% of the work. They already scheduled the appointment. They're already coming. So you don't have to call them. You don't have to reach out to them. You don't have to ask them to come in. They're already coming in. So let's be proactive. So if your CRM isn't consuming your service appointments and making them available, get a list, right? You need to know who's coming in Thursday, Friday, whatever it is. Start looking at the vehicle. Run the Carfax, run the auto check, do the book out, know exactly what is at. Now, 60% of customers that are coming into a service drive are service not sold, which means that they are those defecting customers from somebody else's dealership or a private party purchase, or they moved into the neighborhood. So you need to commit to knowing your customer in the service lane. Those customers that you don't know, you got to come up with a conversion plan. That's a conversation. If your system is capable of doing pre-screens, start leveraging credit data to pre-screen and convert that customer and offer them a firm offer of credit if they apply, if they do a pre-screen. Start doing a pre-qual conversation where you can get that automotive trade line, so you know what their balance is and their payoff is and their monthly payment is, and you know what their interest rate is. You can convert service not sold with pre-screen or pre-qual in your service lane. Get your used car managers to understand what's selling in your market and understand what's coming in. You have to get involved. You have to get out into your back showroom. You can't sit in your front showroom. You've got to get someone back there. Put a salesperson in there. Have them do your hang tags. Again, if you think about the tariff and, hey, things are going to be more expensive, if you're doing a lot of warranty work, that customer doesn't care. The OEM is going to charge you more, but the customer's not paying for it. It's warranty work, right? So start driving more warranty work to avoid the high price conversation. So do you have any recalls? Start looking at your customers that are sold. Find out if you've got any recalls out there. Determine whether or not availability is there. Start targeting through a campaign those customers that have an open recall, that you have parts on the shelf or easy availability that is covered by the manufacturer already. So there's no output from the customer. And hey, if I could I put you into a new car today? I've got one right here. Keep your payment the same. You can start having those conversations. So you got to focus on fixed ops in the service lane.
Let me just jump on that. I'm going to tag team on you. NADA also says, this is a crazy stat to me, if somebody buys a car from you, someone else in their household will buy another car within 90 days. It's not just if you sell them a car. Let's just say, because there are people that use your service department that have never purchased a car from you. Like you just said, they're unsold, service customers. If somebody purchased a car from your direct competitor and used your service department, guess what? Someone in their household is going to buy another car in 90 days. So why are we not utilizing all of our service ups as potential referral generation? Again, we should be, if we're saying, hey, we want to buy your car and booking out cars and doing what you just said, why are we not letting every single service up that comes in know that we have a referral program?
Absolutely.
And again, if you're in one of those unfortunate states that you can't offer a bird dog or referral fee, again, you could at least solicit and ask for, a referral by providing exceptional service. Right. So to your point, again, you need to be maximizing the service department. Here's another one. What about being able to utilize data mining, equity mining strategies? And I just think it's absurd that dealers have a CRM and then they have a whole nother company called a data mining, equity mining tool. Can you talk about that? Because is that not absurd to me? That shouldn't you be able to do that from your own CRM?
Absolutely. Right.
Okay. So speak clearly about what I just said.
Yeah. So yes, that is a true statement. There are major data mining companies that focus on the key-to-key exchange, right? Or the data mining. So now you've got a separate system having a separate conversation outside of your core CRM that doesn't talk back to it. And so you end up having two different conversations. You confuse your customer. So our system has a built-in what we call opportunities or trade alerts, right? So we focus on key-to-key retail, key-to-key lease. We focus on additional opportunities where the vehicle that they're driving, right? If you're a Ford dealer and that customer's driving a Focus or a Fusion or anything like that, guess what? You don't have any cars to put them into. So you better be able to find some other type of sedan that you can put them into. The other important thing to take into that is that a lot of external data mining companies don't necessarily have access to your inventory. And so they're matching to an algorithmic potential car that you can get, may or may not actually be in your inventory. Our opportunities dashboard and trade alerts focuses on vehicles that are in your inventory today that you can sell. They're on the ground.
So let's go back to this again. If we're trying to put a deal together, again, and you don't have a vehicle in stock, let's just say it's a Ford dealership that you just mentioned, somebody's looking at a Ford F-150 that you happen to not have in stock. You could go to your CRM and be able to look at all the Ford F-150s you sold in the last, let's say 18 months, 24 months, 36 months, 48 months, 60 months. And you could create a campaign, a telemarketing campaign, an email campaign, a text message campaign, a direct mail campaign, and basically say, hey, we want to buy your car. Okay. So can you explain that type of stuff? Because I want us to give people tools and resources if the apocalypse is coming called tariffs, and they need to find cars and they need to find deals. So give us some more ideas.
I mean, start going into your search criteria, applying filters for every deal that you've sold, for every make, and don't do it generic, break it down, right? So I think a lot of times what happens in situations like this, whatever it may be, again, the automotive industry has been faced with several, is that we take a great big huge list and we try to have one conversation with one large group of people. Break it down and have a more personal conversation. That's what your CRM lets you do. So create a campaign for F-150s, create a campaign for sedans or Camrys or whatever it is, go after Highlanders, go after this, right? Two things happen. One, you get a much smaller list with a much more targeted message. So instead of saying, we're having a big sale this weekend, say, we're having a big sale this weekend on X, right? Break down that list. Make sure that every single customer that's in your database has a salesperson or a BD agent assigned to it. I don't believe in orphan customers personally, right? So our system doesn't allow you to create orphans, right? The customer didn't quit on you, you quit on the customer. Why do you put that customer into purgatory, right? Make sure that every single customer has an appropriate salesperson assigned to them. Make sure that your sales staff understand what you're trying to do. You have all of the data in your system. Apply the filters. Create a 2-year program, a 3-year program, and go after those customers. Determine the customers that didn't buy a vehicle from you but serviced with you. The same makes, the same brand, or even off brands, right? They bought a sedan. We want that used. I'm a Ford dealer. I want that used Camry. I'm a Camry dealer. I want that used F-150 that came in for an oil change because they bought it from me, right? Segment your data to get to the poignant message. Don't just blast everybody the same message because it's impersonal, it's ineffective, and it's unmeasurable.
All right, now as I'm going to redirect as we start to wind down the show, we got about 6 minutes left. I want to talk about artificial intelligence because AI is a huge, huge buzzword in our industry. What are you building or have built as relates to artificial intelligence for ProMax NCC right now? Or what do you plan to build in the near future? And why?
So we've been leveraging AI from a recommendation perspective around our desking tool and our data mining tools for a long time underneath the scenes. I agree with you. AI is the buzzword of the day right now, right? As far as having conversations and being able to do that. I think that it serves a purpose. I don't think it necessarily replaces the human. If you have a live person that can recognize that somebody didn't buy a car from us, but they service with us and they're looking at this. There's a lot of moving parts in that. We built what's called data exchange. AI is a very intricate science. There's a lot of algorithms that goes with it. And if you look, there are several large companies that have invested millions of dollars in building their algorithms, and they're good at it. And so what we said is, I'm going to go ahead and be able to create the audience. I'm going to securely transfer the data to you. You can do your campaign, but the responses have to come back to me, meaning I don't want to have to make a salesperson log into another platform. I don't want them to download another mobile app that they get their notifications on. So if someone wants to use AI, I'm agnostic to the data exchange. I want to do it securely and safely, and I require that the information comes back to me. Updated customer information, updated statuses, updated appointments, updated vehicle of interest, and so that we can then house that and put that information inside of the system. So we have several partners that we integrate with where we have real-time data exchange from a lead perspective and a campaign perspective. I don't know if the AI models have been trained on tariffs yet, but I can train my sales staff this morning.
I'm going to say this.
Saying the same thing.
No, listen, I'm going to
pull that out.
Well, I want to make a couple quick points because we didn't talk about it in this episode yet, but I'm really honored that ProMax NCC has utilized myself and dealer synergy perspective. And, it's been, vocalized before. Some of the new features and things that you have in the current CRM came directly from conversations with me and your executive team. And now I want to throw something at you, brother. This is something that LA doesn't even really know a lot about. Obviously, we all have heard of Podium AI and their conversational AI, and you guys are connected. And I know that you guys, and Melissa and Misty, from your company and their company are working together to collaborate. But I've actually came up with a whole nother, there's a company called GAN.ai, which is generative adversarial network. It's a type of artificial intelligence model that uses two neural networks in a competitive manner to generate new data samples that resemble the training data. So there's a company, this is crazy. The actual owner, he was a huge engineer with Apple AI and some really super, super high level mega companies. He started this company, and one of the executives from BombBomb left, and they built this like, it's a BombBomb, like video email, video text messaging. Now this company's giving that part away for free, but what they're doing is they're allowing AI video messages. So try to follow this. Can you imagine in ProMax NCC Complete CRM, you can have your team of people shooting some running footage or whatever themselves at their desk or at the dealership, program it into the AI, and now you could have automated video emails or automated video text messages without having the human doing it. You know what I mean? Like, you could actually have AI creating messages. So what we were just talking about, these tariffs, and this is next level shit here, right? So you can literally have AI video emails or AI video text messages get deployed to whatever campaign. Hey, I want to buy your car, or when you come in for service, we want to let you know this or whatever. So can you imagine utilizing AI automatic video messages without having to worry about getting your salespeople, your BDC reps to actually do it? To me, brother, it's actually scary, crazy how fast this is going. And I don't know how much you personally been utilizing like Chat GPT, but I've got like the premium, Mac Daddy version. And I've spent a lot of time feeding my Chat GPT a lot of information. And I'm having super sophisticated, deep conversations, intelligent conversations with it. And I just don't think our industry really understands the magnitude of the power, the potential, of it. And they said that, I just saw this morning, that AI is not going to level the playing field. I think it was Ty Lopez that said this, with Grant Cardone. AI is not going to level the playing field because there's a lot of dope ass people that do dopey things, and their AI is going to just be a little smarter than them. But when you have super high level people that are utilizing that artificial intelligence on a super high level, that's not even come close to the average Joe Schmo just playing with their Chat GPT.
Right. No, I agree with that. And I think that's the thing, right? I've seen smart AI and I've seen dumb AI.
Yes.
Right? I prefer the smart AI.
Yes.
Right? But that smart AI means that some intelligent people started the conversation. They started feeding the information, right? So I'm a supporter of AI as a tool. I have yet to see an AI robot agent that can greet the customer, take them on a demo drive, right? So the fear, AI is going to replace my job. Maybe depending upon your job in the dealership, you might have to look at cross-training yourself. But I think that AI is a tool. I support it. We support it as a company. But what we've said is that there's a lot smarter people. There's a lot more dedicated people that's what they focus on. My job is to facilitate moving the data securely. I don't want Johnny downloading the customer list and emailing it across the universe to the AI company. So here's my customer list, right? No, let's not do that. Let's create the campaign. Let's create the filters. Let's share the information securely. Let's know what the conversation is. And then based off of the signals or the customer sentiment or the result of the conversation that the AI had, push the information back over and tee up the human when they're necessary.
Last closing question, okay? Car guy to car guy here, okay? If you were at a dealership, I don't care what position, sales, GSM, BDC director, not the dealer principal. I'm the dealer principal. I'm like, Greg, I need deals. I need deals right now. I got $50,000 retro on X amount of vehicles. I need to sell some cars today. This is or in the next 2 days. What can they go to in CRM, especially if they're lucky enough to be an NCC ProMax customer? What can they do that's going to something different than what you've talked about today so far? Can you give us an idea of what is going to be the easiest path, least resistance for somebody to get a car deal today or in the next couple of days?
Yeah. So if we exclude the things we've already talked about, the first thing I would say is go find the customers that submitted a lead last week, because you're only focusing on the fresh ones. And they probably haven't bought a car yet because they were worried about the tariff conversation. So we're an immediate focus, right? I focus on what comes to me today, and sometimes I forget about what came to me last week, right? So be grateful for the leads that you paid for last week, and let's go back and make sure that what we wanted to get done got done. And maybe it's 30 days. The tariff conversation has been happening for a few weeks. So let's go back and make sure that everything that we paid for and bought last week it gets the full service, right? In other CRMs, they've probably created some black holes, again, with this orphan customer conversation. In most other CRMs, if you have missing variable data tokens in emails or phone calls or those types of things, those tasks aren't even firing. So the best laid process that you had probably has some gaps in it. So let's go get the customers that aren't assigned to anybody, assigned to somebody, and get them on the phone and say, hey, we want to get you back in the store. Look at your inventory. People are going to be looking for the best deal. Is it priced right? Is it high and tight?
Listen, I appreciate it. You've been an incredible guest. I think that the information we dropped was phenomenal and especially very timely because of the whole chaos of the tariffs. LA, let's take us out.
Listen, man, y'all know what you do. I always say you're the average of the 5 people who you spend the most time with, and you've just been spending time with L.A. Williams, the blind master, Mr. Greg Becker, and the one and only Mr. Sean V. Bradley. I didn't really have to say that. That could have been like AI. You could have just like AI'd that in there, Griff. Like,
how do you know we didn't? How do you know that's really L.A.? How do you know? I don't know. All right.
It's your turn. Go out there and be a millionaire car salesman. We'll talk to y'all later. Peace.
We're out.
Thank you so much for watching this week's episode. If you liked it, you're gonna love Bradley On Demand. Bradley On Demand is the most advanced virtual training, tracking, testing, and certification platform. What does that mean? It's an online university. And if you like this information here, we have hundreds and hundreds of advanced videos, step by step, on how to help you sell more cars more often and more profitably, so sign up now.